everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be the first of my mommy tips style videos. We recently, well by me I mean Daniel, Layla, my daughter, and myself, had recently gone out of town a couple of times. We flew to SoCal and then we flew to Nashville. So those were her first flights. And I just wanted to make this video to share my tips with other moms out there that are new to flying with their baby. If you have a flight coming up and it's your first time flying with baby and you're kind of nervous and don't know how to prepare, or you're having so much anxiety. So hopefully this video will be able to help you prepare and calm your nerves a little bit, because girl, you're gonna be just fine. So my first tip, and this tip really goes to all passengers out there, anybody that's flying, arrive early. Trust me. First of all, I mean, flying is stressful enough already, and then you throw a baby into the mix and then it gets even more stressful. But you want to arrive early. You want to make sure that you get your bags on the plane, make it through TSA, all of that, and make your flight. But you also want to make sure that you are early and be there once they start boarding, because most, if not all, airlines allow families with small children to be one of the first ones to board. And you're going to want that extra time, especially if you are flying somewhere that doesn't have assigned seating, like Southwest, which is what we did when we flew to Southern California. We flew on Southwest. Southwest is open seating if you've never flown them before. So whoever, it's first come first serve, but based on who checked in online first. So once you check in online, you see which section, which boarding section you're going to be in. And Southwest does do families with small children right after boarding group A. And we, on our first flight, okay, we arrived to the airport an hour early, and I was like, okay, cool. Oh my God, I had so much anxiety heading to the airport, but we got to the airport an hour before our flight, and I was like, okay, we're good, we're solid. But the time it took to check in our bag and then go through TSA just took forever. So we were rushing to the gate, and it was almost, they were almost done boarding, and I was like, okay, well, we're definitely not going to be able to sit together. And this was our very first flight with Layla, so that just added more anxiety to me. But luckily, long story short, the two guys sitting in the aisles offered to switch so that me and Daniel and Layla can all sit together. So shout out to you guys wherever you are now. You guys were amazing. That was super sweet, and I'm pretty sure that would be the case for most families that get separated. There's a lot of decent people out there. Anyways, so arrive early. That's my very first tip. Arrive early so you can, do the normal things that you have to do, check in your bag, blah, 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 but also so you can make sure to take advantage of that family boarding time. Okay, my second tip is to look for the Family TSA Line. There isn't always a designated Family TSA Line, but a lot of times there are, and sometimes TSA agents will just see you walking through as a family and then will pull you aside, which is really nice of them. But ask if they have a Family TSA Line. This line is usually shorter, and it might go by quicker because the line is shorter. But also, I mean, you're carrying a lot of stuff when you're traveling with a baby, and this way you can avoid any, disgruntled people behind you watching you put your baby bag and then all of your car seat and everything like that through the security little x-rays and whatnot. So second tip, find the TSA family line. Okay, and then my third tip also really goes towards all passengers out there, anyone that's trying to fly. Please be organized. Have everything organized. It'll make your life easier. It'll make the lives of everyone around you easier. and it's just the smart thing to do. So be organized, know where everything is, and before you get on the plane, you don't want to be that person or that family trying to figure out what to do with all of these 10 different things at your seat when you know very well that you're only allowed one bag in the bins overhead and then something underneath the seat in front of you. So don't be that person that's bringing all this stuff on, trying to shove things in different places. Your stuff is spilling over to the seats next to you that aren't yours. So have everything organized and know what you need, when you're going to need it, and make it easily accessible if you know you're going to need it soon. Then everything else you can stash away before you board the plane. Tip number 4 should be an obvious one, but we were rookies. So before I tell you my story, tip number 4, always have a bottle ready. I was gonna say always have it ready for takeoff and landing, but just always have your bottle ready. Right now, our daughter is eating every 3 hours or so, 2 to 3 hours. It's usually around 3 hours. So before our first flight, I knew that I wanted to have a bottle ready for takeoff, but like I said, we got there an hour early, but then just the lines were taking so long, and I was just I had so much anxiety that I didn't think to take out her milk and get it ready. Just FYI, she is bottle fed, but it's breast milk exclusively, so it's not preparing formula or anything like that, but it's making sure the breast milk is warm for her to drink. So that is us getting her bottle ready. So we didn't have the bottle ready. I was thinking about taking it out when we were in line to check in our bags, but then I was like, we're gonna have to get it through TSA, and I don't know how this whole TSA and breast milk thing works just yet. So I didn't want to take it out yet. I wanted to have all the milk together for ease of going through TSA. And then we rushed to the gate, and then it was still cold when I finally took it out, and I knew that she was already getting hungry. So she did scream for the first several minutes of her first flight, but that was totally on us. Rookie mistake. So always have a bottle ready for takeoff. As soon as baby finishes that bottle, well, I guess if you're doing formula, you don't need to prepare it right away. But if you're like me and you're warming up milk, then have it ready. So what we do now is we take out another milk as soon as she's done drinking the one that we gave her. So that leads us to my next tip. If you are bringing breast milk, then bring breast milk that's been deep frozen. That way it'll last you longer. You don't have to worry so much about how you're going to pack it. If you have to pack it with ice, bring it in a cooler, this and that. All of our milk that we brought was deep frozen. Usually we have a set in the fridge, and then we have a set in our freezer, and then we have actual like freezers in our garage to deep freeze the milk. So we made it a point to not pick the milks that were in the fridge, but to get the deep frozen ones. That way it would last us longer. We wouldn't have to worry about it going bad. Our first flight was only an hour and 15 minutes, give or take, which was a good starter flight. So we didn't have to worry so much about the milk going bad on that flight. But the next set of flights was to Nashville. So that was at least 4 hours of flight. And it just helps so much to know that the milk is still like frozen, and I don't have to worry about bringing its own little container and bringing ice packs and all of that. So that is tip number 5, frozen milk, deep frozen milk. Number 6, now this is optional. I think we're gonna start doing it from now on. I actually didn't do this on any of our 4 flights, but bring a thermos that's big enough to carry hot water and to fit the bottle in to warm up. So again, this is if you're bringing milk that's frozen and needs to be thawed. Bring a thermos so that when you ask for hot water, you can have the flight attendants either fill up the thermos with hot water, or you can just pour in the hot water that they give you, because otherwise you have this little paper mug of hot water that you know your bottle can't fit into, or you know, if you put your frozen milk bag in there, the water's just going to overflow. So bring a thermos, that way you can keep refilling it with hot water and then throwing your milk in there for it to thaw and warm up. Or if you don't want to bring a thermos, you can always just, you know, tough it out like Daniel and I did, where we just took out the frozen milk and pretty much just like kept it under her leg, or kept like holding on to it and playing with it until it was warm enough for her to drink. Tip number 7, keep all of the bottles that you know you're going to use in your bag that's going underneath the seat in front of you. So actually, before I even talk about that, bring all of your baby essentials. I mean, obviously if it fits in a carry-on, bring everything baby related in your carry-on in one like roller bag, and then a personal item, so like your diaper bag or something small enough to fit underneath the seat in front of you. I did not want to risk checking any of my daughter's items. We checked Daniel and I's bag, but I did not want to check her bag. I mean, if we, for some reason, if our bag got lost, we would be able to deal with it, but I did not want to have any kind of emergency where I needed her stuff and we didn't have her stuff on hand. So I suggest bringing all baby stuff with you on your carry-on if you can, if it fits. If not, bring all of your clean bottles and put that into your diaper bag that's going underneath the seat in front of you. The way we had done it for our first flight was we normally carry just 2 clean bottles in her diaper bag, which is what we did, and then I had 2 extra clean bottles in my bigger bag that we put overhead. And then when I realized during our first Nashville flight, or our flight to Nashville, we had to use both of those extra clean bottles that were in the bigger bag in the overhead bin. And I had Daniel take one out before we boarded and then swap it out with one of the dirty ones, and then mid-flight he had to go and get another clean one and then swap it out with another dirty bag or another dirty bottle. So I would suggest just keeping, you know, if the flight is not too crazy long, like ours was 4.5 hours, like I said, at most, keep all of those bottles in your bag. That way you don't have to worry about, you know, rushing to the bathroom and trying to clean it there, or, you know, rummaging through the overhead bin. Maybe there's going to be turbulence when you need that bottle, right? Of course, that would happen. That's how life works. When you need something, that's when you're not going to be able to get it. So keep all those in your diaper bag. You don't have to worry about swapping them out, getting up, etc. Number 8. So if you can, gate check your car seat. If you're bringing the car seat with you, gate check it. Obviously, you don't need to gate check it if you bought a seat for baby and you want to keep your car seat on the plane. I mean, on his or her seat. But if you can, I would definitely suggest gate checking it versus checking it in prior to security. So, you know how you check in your bags when you get your boarding pass? I would suggest not doing it there, even though usually you do get one free baby item. This is the same as my logic for bringing all of my baby items with me as a carry-on, because I don't want to risk losing her car seat. There is definitely more chance for it to be lost when you check it in before security versus if you're gate checking it. Because if you gate check your car seat, they bring it straight down to the plane. From the gate, from the jet bridge down to the plane. There's very little chance for it to get lost from going up there to straight down to the plane. So if you are unfamiliar with what gate checking is, all you have to do is bring the car seat with you to the gate. So, I mean, if you're traveling alone and you have so much stuff to carry already, that might not be the best option for you. But if you can lug the car seat, you know, your chunky car seat along with all the other carry-ons that you have, then I would definitely suggest it. But you bring it to the gate, and then either before boarding or during boarding, you let the gate agent or the person scanning your boarding pass know that you want to gate check your car seat, and then they'll put a special tag on it. You leave it at the end of the jet bridge right before you step onto the plane, and then one of the employees will get it, put it straight into the plane, and once you land, you can actually pick it up right outside of the plane, so you don't have to go to baggage claim to go pick up your car seat. So it's usually there, you know, as soon as you're off the plane, but maybe if you are one of the first ones off the plane, you might have to wait just a few minutes, but it usually doesn't take that long at all. So that is my last tip based on my experience flying with my baby. We're definitely going to be going on a lot more flights. We actually have 2 more trips to SoCal planned next month for weddings. But also, before I end this video, I do also want to just throw out a few suggestions to families and mamas and daddies out there traveling with baby. If you guys didn't know already, I am a flight attendant. So I've had my fair share of families and their babies on the planes, and these are just a few of my suggestions that I wanted to throw out there. First of all, please do not change your baby on the retractable tables. Those are for eating. People do eat off of those tables, and there are always changing tables in the aircraft labs, so it's usually in all of the labs. So if you're not sure, you can always double check with your flight attendant, but just for the sake of everyone's sanity and sanitation, don't change your babies on the pull down tables. There are designated areas for you to change your baby. If you don't want to do it in the aircraft lab, then do it before you get on the plane. Second, please, oh my goodness, please do not let your babies crawl or lay down on the tiny little aisle. This I've seen multiple times, and I've had to ask people multiple times not to let your baby lay there. I mean, it seems like it makes sense, like it's common sense, but apparently it's not. First of all, it's not sanitary. People are constantly walking up and down. Second of all, it's just not safe. There could be a turbulence at any time. The flight attendants are constantly like walking up and down with the carts, with the trash carts, with the beverage carts, or, you know, trying to do water services and carrying trays of waters. So it's just not safe. Just don't do it. And then lastly, milk does run out on planes. You would think, or you would hope, that there is just a crazy supply of everything on planes, but planes have very limited space, especially for storage. So please be prepared. Bring more milk than you need, because you can't always be guaranteed that there will be milk for you to give to your baby if you happen to run out. So be prepared. If you realize that you will not have enough milk to last you the flight, ask ahead of time. Ask at the beginning of the flight. Ask a flight attendant, and then maybe they'll be able to hold it for you. It's not a guarantee. Just saying, bring more than enough milk. Milk can run out. It's usually, I mean, we definitely don't carry as much milk as we do all of the other sodas like Coke and things like that. So that is my last tip from a flight attendant point of view. So I hope this video helped from the mama side and the flight attendant side of me. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. I'm sure I'm going to have more tips for you as I continue to fly and experience traveling with baby. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm coming out with videos every week. I have so many lined up for you. I really wanted to post a DIY video this week, but all of my DIYs are currently still in progress, so they're not complete yet, so I obviously can't post the video yet. But go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can make sure to see all of those DIY projects. The nursery is like 98% done, and I'm so excited to show you guys. I literally think about it every single day. So hit that notification bell, make sure you catch all my next baby related videos and mama tips, things like that. Give this video a thumbs up, and please share your comments below, your experiences traveling with baby, any questions you have for me as a mom traveling with baby or as just a flight attendant, and I would be happy to answer them. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.